I propose to examine kindfulness. Since stories of all kinds fascinate me, I have to recommend a movie we just saw called Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. An excellent film, and one of my favorite lines is, we have to be kind, especially if we don't know what's going on. Well, I don't know about you, but lately I'm at the point I rarely seem to know what's going on. I watch the news, I read the news, and I'm just like, what? Raoul thinks I'm losing my hearing. What? The world is a confusing and sometimes chaotic place in these modern times. Thank goodness we have our community. And in fact, kindness from family and close friends is something we kind of take for granted. I mean, we appreciate it, but we almost expect it. After all, we are on this journey together. From strangers, however, that's less common. I heard this story on the radio show This American Life on NPR. 20 years ago, there was a young gay man in Utah, and he was named John, and he was earning a BA in education. After college, he moved to New York City and began to substitute teach, and got his first boyfriend. They were both broke, but they'd scraped together enough money to go to the theater in cheap seats and enjoy an evening. After a show, I think it was Spelling Bee, he was approached by a stranger, well-dressed man, but they didn't know him. And the man said he could see these two guys from his seat in the theater, and he didn't think anybody was enjoying the show more than these two, particularly John. He held out $200 and urged the two guys to get tickets and go see Sweeney Todd. Now, I don't know if any of you know that story, but he told this young man, John, he said, it will change your life. And their first impulse was to say, no thanks, you know, we're good. But they did it, and in fact, it started in John a determination to pursue acting, and 17 years later, John is now a Broadway star. And this year he asked Facebook to locate this kind stranger, and what do you know, they did it. And on the phone, John was able to say, thank you so very much for that kind, impulsive offer. And it, in fact, did change my life. And the stranger, of course, was happy to hear his spontaneous kindness had made such a difference. So trusting strangers is another form of kindness we can give and receive, within reason, of course. There was a man, a black man, who said he intimidated most white folks. And that put him in a certain frame within the world. He lost his sight suddenly at the age of 26, and the world completely changed for him. Suddenly, he had to trust strangers, and they reacted to him with such vulnerability. Total strangers would regularly tell him the most personal, private things. And one man even confessed he was gay, but not out yet. One man gave him a fake name until they talked a while, and the guy said, well, actually, I'm a cop, and I trust no one. I want to get out of the business because it's really causing an alienation within me when with the public. So in longer term relationships, being vulnerable is often a challenge. We each have a strong ego, a protector and guide. When we make peace with the ego and invite the wise counsel of that inner voice, then our decisions are informed and prudent. However, letting that voice lead in all things is often not conducive to true kindness and to trust of others. Lifelong friendships teach us so much about ourselves and what we want. When people are asked what they would like in a spouse or a friend, very often the first answer is kindness. We are so fortunate to know the ephemeral nature of our existence. We humans are thus able to understand the need to seek meaning in life, to become more harmonious with what is. When my husband and I first started an import company in the late 1980s, We were plunged into the world of gourmet food. I was suffering from imposter syndrome at every turn. We sold very expensive Italian cookware at Macy's, Dillard's, and such. The houseware shows attracted chefs like Julia Child to our booth. James Beard broke one of our big chairs in Chicago. Bless him. The buyer for Neiman Marcus saw my need and took me in hand for a makeover at their flagship Dallas store. Haircut, clothing, shoes. I drew the line at handbags costing hundreds of dollars. Ralph Lauren became my favorite. Thanks to that kind buyer, I was ready to blend in with the swells and sell that cookware nationwide. One choice we make over and over is kindness. Reaching for compassion instead of frustration when challenged is an excellent practice. The ability to be generous in interactions, to be agreeable and gentle is so kind. Really, it's a superpower. The Bible says, a soft answer turneth away wrath. And it is so true. It works like a charm. I've used it many times. Another story. When Arnulfo Reyes was discharged from the hospital this last June, he was nervous about what the town response would be. You see, Mr. Reyes is a teacher, and all 11 of his students were killed in his Uvalde classroom. Imagine his surprise and relief when nearly the entire town came out and drove past him, honking and waving, many stopping to give him hugs. He may have been discharged from the hospital, but the deep healing from that trauma was taking place right in that parking lot. Love and its kindness, love and its cousin kindness, are truly a gift we give others. But what of the psychological effects of acting kindly? We know we feel unsettled and stressed when we have had upset words with others, but relaxed and content when we react with kindness. In fact, many studies have confirmed its uplifting effects, even as a treatment for depression. Similarly, such research in the mind-body connection suggests stress is a component of disease. As Ma Muse, a local group, sings, if you're feeling helpless, help someone. Kindness is also the foundation of many of the world's great religions and enduring philosophies. Why then does being kind sometimes feel so dangerous? If we crave kindness with such intensity, why is it a pleasure we often deny ourselves? And why, despite our longing, are we often suspicious when we are on the receiving end of it? Perhaps it is in the intimacy required. I have heard it said that all healing begins with a healing of the heart. And I think the same is true regarding kindness. Excuse me. It has also been said that when you choose your community, you choose your character. Yet modern people are most often taught to perceive ourselves as fundamentally competitive with one another. Our motives, self-seeking. This is why in our society we have sometimes chosen loneliness over connection. I think a life lived in sympathetic identification with others is the one we should allow ourselves to live. I love the story of the Japanese soccer team that failed to advance in competition, and so they got ready to fly home. Before they left the dormitory, they stripped the beds, they washed the floors and scrubbed the bathroom. They essentially left it as they found it. They identified with their hosts and cleaned in sympathy and harmony. Another story of outstanding kindness of the Pearl Jam bass player, Jeff. He has made it his life's work to build skate parks in disadvantaged areas of Montana. He is especially focused on reservations, Indian reservations, and believes that which makes you feel alive keeps you alive. His devotion to helping others is making a real difference to youth plagued by high unemployment, drug abuse, and suicide. Most of those kids have never even heard of Pearl Jam. He has traded fame for a life of true meaning. It isn't easy to define something as significant as kindness, so it's understandable different people may define it differently. Marcus Aurelius declared kindness was mankind's greatest delight, as he defined it as the intense satisfaction of generosity and compassion. Here's another way to define kindness. Kindness is the sincere and voluntary use of one's time, talent, and resources to better the lives of others, to better one's own life, and to better the world. This is accomplished through genuine acts of love, compassion, generosity, and service. Moreover, kindness involves choice. Kindness involves choice because there are many alternatives that will tempt us in life, including, of course, apathy and anger. We truly carry the antidote with us at all times. Circumstances may test us, people may try us, news may trouble us. Yet, despite those obstacles, we each have the ability and the beauty to actively choose to be kind. In addition, kindness involves choice because there are so many ways to be kind. Every time each of us performs an act of kindness, we get to choose from fun answers to great questions such as the following. Who can I be kind to today? How kind can I be? What acts of kindness can I do? And choice doesn't have to create complexity. It can be as simple as a smile. Since there are always opportunities and great ways to be kind, it will forever have a place in our lives and in our world, as long as people continue to intentionally choose it. When we view words that are similar to kindness, we gain additional perspective about what it means. In addition, we might be able to spot a common theme that unites these related words. So here's a list of synonyms. I'm sure you have others. Warm-heartedness, helpfulness, thoughtfulness, compassion, generosity, friendliness, goodness, altruism, courtesy, and benevolence. As you can see, based on the synonyms, kindness is in great company and in great service to society. Indeed, a common theme appears to be love, because love is at its core kindness. Love is the invisible thread that ties kindness to all its peers. Love is the origin of the affectionate, empathetic, and supportive undertone that exists not only in kindness, but also in each and every kindness synonym. This undeniable presence of love, however, comes as no great surprise, because kindness is a form of love. It is, in fact, love in action. Kindness is a way love is expressed, a reason love multiplies, and an example of what is possible when love is prioritized. That's why kindness is so hard to capture with words. Since kindness is love in action, it's challenging to fully express the magnitude and magnificence of kindness through just synonyms and definitions. Words on a page can certainly paint a picture, but they can never thoroughly represent all that's special about kindness, or all that kindness can accomplish once it's put out into the world. With its brilliant beauty and endless ability to elevate, kindness is so much more splendid, more substantial, more satisfying than can ever be completely described in even the most carefully crafted sentences. It's one thing to be taught kindness, it's quite another to be touched by it. We need to step beyond the confines of what can be written and immerse ourselves in the beauty of what can be felt. Fortunately, this leads us right to the very best way to discover the essence, impact, and importance of kindness. The simple truth is there's no substitute for experience. When we actively choose to be kind, we see the real power of kindness is best understood when realized rather than just researched. When kindness is actually dispersed instead of just being discussed. We see then that kindness is so meaningful, magnetic, and memorable because kindness can make those around us feel incredible, incredibly useful, incredibly optimistic, and incredibly honored to be of genuine service to others. Kindness is literally contagious. Many towns are now calling themselves kindness communities in acknowledgement of the benefits to society at large. So kindness really is love in action, and it is an antidote, a cure to hate. In these hyper-polarized times, it is a wellspring of hope and a counterbalance to despair. Kindness is a gift we can give every day, not only to others, but also to ourselves. In addition, the gift of kindness is a gift that keeps on giving. Sincere kindness does so much more than just make us smile. It stays with us, it lingers, as it disarms our shields of cynicism and reaffirms our faith in humanity. It marks us. Kindness changes us. Despite how low we feel or how far we've fallen, great acts of kindness pick us up, dust us off, and urge us to stand tall regardless of the weight of our burdens. Kindness provides both comfort and clarity. It ignites even as it soothes. Kindness shows us we're all worth the effort and all our efforts have worth. It is a godly reflection of man's best attributes. So make the effort to perform random acts of kindness for strangers, as well as the people you love the most. Do good deeds that make people smile for no other reason than simply because you can. Let's make the world our classroom and our actions our guide. Only then will we know the true effects of kindness on ourselves and the world around us. Only then will we realize what kindness truly means. And finally, I suggest we begin with this. Speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend, with patience, understanding, and kindness. Loving ourselves as unconditionally as we love those around us inspires others to want to do the same. I believe the best way to understand kindness is to resolve to be an endless source of it. Namaste, my friends.